Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Spring Fever with me, XFL, CFL, USFL, Jim, joined by my co-host, Eric, Uncle Rico at ETOF21 on Twitter. My man, how we feeling right now?
Dude, feeling good, man. Feeling energized, ready to kick some ass, dude. We almost got that Panthers home, almost got the Maulers home.
Man, you were DMing me back and forth with the Maulers. You were really wanting that one.
Dude, it was like they're kind of like that Lions team that went 0-16, just constantly just teasing you and then just ripping your heart out.
They got their one, now they're done.
I mean, dude, I still can't believe a missed extra point and a missed field goal to win it.
Brutal.
I feel like if we get a USFL guest, that kicker should be the first one.
You think so? You want to grill him?
No, I just want to be like, hey, man, I'm not one to complain, but you did cost me $400 by missing you. I'm not one to complain, but I'm just letting you know. Like, how does that make you feel?
I think we should open the show with a little celebration of career. So I don't know if you saw on Twitter, but our dear friend and ex-league legend, BJ, Beatty, he got let go from OBIC.
No way.
Officially retired.
He got let go?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
It's like it might have been a mutual thing. I don't know the actual full details, but he's not playing. He's officially just done with the ex-league. He's retired.
Oh, wow.
I think he enters his coaching arc.
Good for him, man. We'll definitely have to have him on once he gets a gig, because he was a great guy. Great stories. He's been around the game for a while. I'm sure he's going to be able to, take the next generation of players to where they want to go in Japan because he wanted to get into the college scene over there, if I remember.
That's what he was saying. I think he's going to be very successful coaching up the Japanese football players. I think he's going to find a really good foothold in Japanese college football.
Yeah, I agree too.
Love the man. We're going to do a real meat and potatoes episode, Eric, because I don't know about you, but I am fucking exhausted. I had a 12-and-a-half-hour day at work today. So we're just going to go right into it. A little week 1 CFL recap, a little week 9 USFL recap, and then we're going to break down the games coming up for you. So week 1 CFL, game 1, we had the Montreal Alouettes versus the Calgary Stampeders. Opening night, Stampeders won it 30-27. This was a banger of a game to start it off the CFL season. And
props to old Uncle Jim. Uncle Jim said to take the Stampeders live during my show when they're gone at halftime and they got it done. Entertaining game. I'm a little worried about the running back going down from Montreal. I think long term that will hurt them because he is such a dynamic guy. I know their backup played well, but I just kind of feel
he played decent, but he had 7 rushes for 98 yards for
he had that one huge run.
He had a 70-yard run. So he had 6 for 20 something, 28.
Yeah. I mean, I feel that's going to really hurt their offense with what they're trying to do. My one worry with Calgary is they just made some bad mistakes that flipped that game toward the end of the second quarter, right before halftime. And I really feel like long term that's going to kind of hurt them this year.
Couple bad mistakes, and also Bo Levi Mitchell going down at the end of the game with a little bit of an injury. That hurts. He's back for week 2, though, so he's fine. He just got banged up a little bit. Okay. Yeah, the only one in this game that got banged up for multiple weeks was Stanback, the running back for Montreal. He's out for 6 weeks, I believe, last I heard. I had a fun time with this game. It was a great opening for the CFL, pointsy. And then there was 2 hurdles in this game, too. I think every CFL game had at least 1 hurdle, which I'm always a fan of.
I'm a fan of the hurdle too. They couldn't ask for a better game to start off the season. Why do that now? Do they still show games on ESPN, ESPN2?
ESPN Plus, and then every once in a while they'll be doing games on ESPN2 and News. I think so. Week 1, every game was on ESPN Plus. Let me see if any of the week 2 games are going to be on. They don't mention it.
Because my 2 cents is that would have been a great game. I mean, hindsight being 2020, to be on the mothership because it was an entertaining, high-scoring game that's going to draw people in.
It would have been awesome. It would have been a great way to do it, to like get everyone in. It was super fun. Lots of really cool plays. I they'll probably do about one a week,
Okay.
especially once NBA and NHL wrap up and CFL. It's just CFL and MLB.
Yeah.
They'll probably post like a game a week on ESPN2 and ESPN News. But for now, it's just on ESPN Plus, which is, at least as far as streaming services go, it's easy to use.
Oh, it's really easy. It took me forever to find the game, but I found it. So that was my one hiccup. It took me forever to find the CFL game.
I'd help you out finding them because you just got to go to what's live. You just got to go to the
Yeah.
schedule live, and it sorts it by sport.
Oh, okay.
So like, all you have to do right now is just look for football.
Oh, okay. All right. Easy enough. Easy
Game
enough.
number 2, we had the Ottawa Red Blacks taking on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The Blue Bombers squeaked by, winning 19-17. This was this is also a fun game. Jeremiah Masoli for the Red Blacks is a dude. He's fun as hell to watch.
I kind of feel like he's going to be playing this year with a chip on his shoulder since since he's not at Ottawa anymore. Couple things that stood out for me. The Winnipeg's QB. Do we know how long he's out for?
Zach Collaros is listed as probable for this next week.
Okay. The like you said, Marsoli. Did I say his name right?
Jeremiah Masoli.
Masoli dropping dimes, and even the first play of the game, they had it. He put that ball right in the freaking breadbasket, and the dude dropped it. Great game, entertaining game. More defense though than we thought. A lot more defense than we thought.
Well, I was on the over for every game just because, like, opening CFL week, I always do overs. I knew the Blue Bombers have a really good defense. That's what they relied on, defense and a really, really strong run game last year. So their defense is still really good. Run game, not as much. Still leaving a bit to be desired there. But yeah, this was pretty low scoring. It was a defensive battle, but still Masoli managed to get 380 yards passing.
Yep, and I'm not gonna lie. When Brown came in, I was like, "Oh shit, dude, we have a chance to cash this police 375."
Just wait till they run it back next week because the CFL schedule is so wild. We'll get into it later, but the Red Blacks and Blue Bombers are playing each other again in week 2.
Yeah, I saw that, which is absolutely crazy.
I love it. That's another like little CFL nugget. That's just a super fun thing. I think the Red Blacks are in for a pretty fun and good season. I would say so.
And props to you. You've been on those guys some jump street, dude.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then we get into the games I was wrong about. We had the Hamilton Tiger Cats going against the Rough Riders. Rough Riders win it 30-13. Eric, call me a fucking idiot because I talked you out of the Rough Riders.
Hey, you know what, dude? You live and learn, man. You live and learn. You know, there's always going to be next week, dude. So you didn't talk me out of the Elks, though.
I knew Hamilton was going to take a step back. I really expected more from Dane Evans. 200 yards, like over 200 yards passing, 1 touchdown to 2 interceptions. He didn't look great.
No, not at all. Not at all. But do you think that was just because it was the home opener? You know what I mean? Because attendance was so high across the board, pumped up, let down from losing last year in the Grey Cup.
I do think there's a letdown spot.
I mean?
I also think like maybe Dane Evans needs a little bit of a warm up, or maybe like him coming in relief of Jeremiah Masoli last year was a little bit of like a false positive sort of situation.
Yeah.
And I think Hamilton, they lost like a decent amount. They lost Speedy Banks. They lost their number 1 receiver. This offense just isn't very good. And the defense, while still impressive, is just not what it was last year. And it's not going to be able to hold up for an entire game. Because this game was close until the 4th quarter.
Yeah, 4th quarter, the wheels fell off.
Yeah, it was going in to the 4th. It was 6-12. So that's a very attainable game. And then the Rough Riders just shoot off 18 points in a quarter.
Yeah,
just run away with it.
Just done.
The issue for the Rough Riders I see coming, not really much of a semblance of a run game. Be on the lookout for that as a worry. But the Cody Fajardo to Shaq Evans connection is legit. And
yeah, but is Fajardo going to be that consistent?
No, maybe he's got a new leaf this year, but generally no. Then we have our last game. This was the biggest surprise for me of the entire weekend of CFL and USFL. The Edmonton Elks taking on the BC Lions, with the BC Lions winning 59-15. The only real, like, the biggest blowout of the weekend.
I mean, this was an embarrassing, giving up 28 points in the second quarter. I mean, it was, what was
disgusting.
42-6 at halftime. 42-6 at halftime. This was just an utter beatdown. The only good thing about this game was I was able to go to bed early on Saturday night.
James Butler and Nathan Rourke basically had their way with the Edmonton defense, and their Edmonton offense. Nick Arbuckle couldn't do much, and they brought in Trey Ford for a little bit. They benched Arbuckle partway through the game. Also couldn't do much. Not pretty for the Elks. It looks like the Elks are going to be easily the bottom team in the CFL this year.
Oh, and it's not even going to be close. And I mean, Butler, it's kind of stood out to me from BC. I mean, 17 for a buck away on the ground.
XFL legend, James Butler.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. And their quarterback Roque, 20 for 20, 26 for 29 for 262. I mean,
shout out to that quarterback, by the way, Nathan Rourke, Mac legend. Mac legend played at Ohio.
Dude, you got to love those Bobcats, dude. Speaking of that, for those that missed it, Jim and I had a phenomenal Mac preview. We gave out 2 futures. We said to drop the hammer on. A little hammer man, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
A little hammer man.
Oh, yeah, we did. Moving over to the American football, USFL, Week 9. So while the CFL was just getting started, the USFL is starting to wind down. Week 9, this was a weird week. Lots of weird stuff, hard to predict. We had the Generals taking on the Panthers, with the Generals winning 25-23. This is DeAndre Johnson didn't seem ready.
Correct.
Like, he was kind of out of sorts.
It kind of shocked me that they put him in, to be honest with you.
Well, they probably, like, he was banged up a little bit in the season. They probably wanted to get him some reps before playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised to see him for a little bit in Week 10 as well.
Mm-hmm.
But Perez has been doing really good on his own the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing that stood out for me is this team is supposed to have the best rushing attack, and they're only 1 for 4 in the red zone. That is the Generals. And their defensive line wasn't able to disrupt the Panthers, who were averaging 5.2 yards per play. I mean, is it more the Generals were just going through the motions, you think, or the Panthers? Are they?
I think it's a combination. I think the Generals had an off week. They did not look great, but then, like, the best teams all over didn't look great. And the Panthers, I think if the Panthers would have had Josh Love in from the get-go, or Barriere from the get-go, or if they would just stick with one single quarterback the entire damn season, they could have maybe won 2 or 3 more games.
Yeah.
I still don't like Jeff Fisher's play calling, but
I think it's awful.
Whatever.
I think it's absolutely putrid. I think it's awful. And that was another, I mean, we should have classed that plus 275 in that bad boy.
You should have, but guess what money line we did cash? We had the Gamblers taking on the Stallions, with the Gamblers winning 17-15. That was like a plus 435.
I got a plus 500.
Beautiful.
Oh,
beautiful. Kenji Bahar gets his first win as a starting quarterback in the USFL. The Titans fall. In some respects, you got to be kind of happy if you're a Stallions fan that you lose before the playoffs, that, like, you taste that defeat. Now they know.
I mean, but let's just look at this box score for a second.
They still don't look great. Just like the Stallions have been on a downslide for the last 3 weeks, I feel like.
Just look at the box score. Gamblers, 50 total plays. Stallions, 67. Total yards, you ready for this? The Gamblers were outgained by 142 yards. They only had 187 yards of total offense compared to the Stallions, 329. Both teams a combined 0 of 5 in the red zone.
Yeah, this came down to, like, Nick Vogel's kicking. It came down to key plays by the Gamblers to just, like, get stops. And it also came down to the Stallions deciding not to run the ball or use Bo Scarborough, like, at all.
Which is really weird because, I mean, that guy is a hoss. You know,
they rushed him 11 times.
Well, 11 for 31. That was it.
You gotta feel like he would have broken some more.
Yeah. Or then again, like, Are they? Maybe they're just trying to keep him healthy for the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like,
I think
I don't know.
so,
It was a
and that's
weird
fair.
game. It was a weird game. It was kind of a flat spot or us for the Stallions. You know, it's going to be interesting to see how these teams that looked bad, that are the top echelon of the league, come back this week.
I think week 10 is also going to be, it's going to be similar to week 9 where it's going to be super hard to predict. I might just take dogs in all the games, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Up next, though, we had the Tampa Bay Bandits taking on the New Orleans Breakers, with the Breakers winning 17-6, locking it in for the playoffs. Both teams did look pretty sloppy in this one, but that Breakers D-line is just so disgustingly good.
Yeah. I mean, it can get to the quarterback. My one thing is this, though, is I wanted your opinion on this.
Okay.
The Breakers lost time of possession again, and they're on the field for 68 plays. That's got to wear on the defense. You know what I mean?
Okay.
When you're playing a better team like the Generals, a better team like the Stars, that's going to wear on you. Are we worried like their defense isn't going to be able to get off the field?
I am not too worried because you definitely saw it. Their quarterbacks were just banged up. Both Sloter and Smith were like, Smith comes in relief for Sloter, who's been busted up for most of the year, and then Smith immediately fucks up his shoulder. And then they have to put Kyle Sloter back in. They're worried about injuring their quarterback. They're up. They want to just run the ball, and like they refuse to pass what felt like a quarter and a half from the basically halfway through the third quarter to the fourth. They basically refused to pass the ball and just punted and made their defense win it for them. I think they're just, this game in particular, and probably week 10. Well, week 10, they might just not even care because they're already locked in. But they just wanted to like save their quarterback and not make him just play make and stretch and trying to re-hurt himself, re-aggravate a bad injury. I'm not too worried because once it comes to playoffs, it's win or go home. I think they're gonna lay it out on the line. I trust Larry Fedora to come up with something.
Okay. All right.
And like we talked, so the Maulers are the worst team. I think we both agree in the USFL.
That's why they're my team.
I think the Bandits might be the most disappointing.
Oh, hands down. Hands down. You have
It's either them or the Panthers, but like Todd Haley is an offensive mind, and Jordan Ta'amu being who he was and being like everyone's top pick for the whole league. And don't get me wrong, Jordan Ta'amu has looked good, but he can't do it all. And like they rely so much. Both these teams tied for like the number of turnovers for the season as top teams. No semblance of a rushing attack for the Bandits. Just you would want to see more. 0 wins against an opponent with a winning record.
Yep. If they can't beat the top guys, they just beat up on the bottom feeders. I think with them though, for their quarterback to be successful, he needs some.
He needs a rush. He needs a rush game. Run game.
Haley abandoned that, but you're right. I mean, you have Todd Haley, who's a respected coach coming in from the NFL. You have the guy that dominated the XFL. You know, I thought this team was going to be better than it is, and this team's been an utter disappointment. I'm not going to lie. I knew Michigan was doomed as soon as they drafted Shea Patterson. I mean, I think I sent you a message like that.
You did.
You know, so I didn't have I wasn't that high on them, but I expected the Bandits to be one of the better teams in the league, and
I think a lot of people did. I expected them to be definitely competing for a playoff spot. I thought it was going to be between them and the Breakers.
I thought they were one of the betting favorites, if I remember correctly.
They were. I think they were the second favorite. Michigan was the favorite.
Yeah.
And then they were the second favorite.
Boy, how stuff can change in 2 months.
Did not work out. Last game of the week for USFL, we had the Philadelphia Stars versus the Pittsburgh Maulers, with the Stars winning 17-16.
Let me tell you
for Uncle Rico.
I mean, Uncle Rico may have had the Redbacks, the Maulers, the Gamblers, and the Panthers in a money line parlay.
He did.
And that was just Heartbreak Hotel. You know, the Maulers, it was a weird game. They started off, I thought they had a million opportunities to get some points on the board at the beginning of the game. They just didn't take advantage of it. Really looked like the Stars were going through the motions. and then they're just leaving points off the board, missing. What do they do? They missed an extra point, I believe, and then they missed a
Missed
field
an
goal
extra
to win it.
point, missed a field goal. But the weird thing for me is now that they're definitively out of it, knocked out, the bottom team in like the whole league, now Kirby
Open up
Wilson
that playbook.
decides to like get creative and go for it and fake punt and do weird stuff. Like, why now?
That's a page out of the Detroit Lions playbook. They usually don't do any of the fake stuff or do anything until they're out eliminated from the playoffs. That's
Okay.
But you make a good point. I don't understand like why 9 games in are you breaking that stuff out? Maybe that was a way for him to try to make it more fun for the players and try to win his team back. I don't know, because like, we were talking in the group chat we're in, like, has he lost the team? Like, maybe
I feel like he lost the team week 1.
Yeah.
I feel like he never had the team.
But you know what I mean? Like, just try to do something and kind of like get everyone together, so to speak. I guess that's my point.
Maybe. So the Stars, like, I think it's smart that they pulled Cookus just because he was getting hammered. He was getting just brutalized out there. KJ Costello comes in. He looks all right. He looks fair. He looks decent. I expect we'll see like an entire KJ Costello game in week 10.
I agree with you 100%. There's no reason for them to play cockpit. What?
And I mean, they locked in for the playoffs and just shut down. We should have seen this coming. I feel you saw it coming. I did not.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna. And the lines this week. I mean, there's some tight lines. It's going to be an interesting last week.
Let's get into these lines. Let's start off with the CFL. Thursday night football. That's right. We got football Thursday to Sunday. Thursday night football. We have the Montreal Alouettes taking on the Toronto Argonauts in the Argonauts season opener. Argonauts are 3.5 point favorites where I'm seeing them.
I kind of lean the dog here. Do you feel like not playing a game, playing against a team that already played one?
So I talked about this on an earlier show this week, hashtag CFL Gambling Podcast, where I just focus on the CFL exclusively. So I was saying to my buddy Rod, I liked the Toronto at the time, yesterday, 2 days ago actually, they were -3. So the line has moved from 3 to 3.5. I said 3 is the number. If I see a 3.5, I like Montreal. So guess what? I'm seeing 3.5. I like Montreal.
Okay.
My favorite play in this game, though, is the over 49.5.
You think there's going to be some?
Montreal proved that they can score and like put up points offensively, and I project Toronto to have the number 1 offense in the CFL.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm in love with this Toronto offense. I just want points. This also falls back onto my my mentality and my rule of CFL openers always bet the over. They went 2-2 last week. We'll see how this one does.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with Toronto. No, I'm just going to go with Montreal plus 3.5 and the over.
I lean Montreal. I'm seeing a 4 on one of my books right now.
Take that. Yeah. Anything over 3, I'm taking Montreal. Anything under 3, though, I'm taking Toronto. I bet it's a 3. That's what I'm thinking, though.
Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing a 4. Maybe I'm gonna hang tight a little bit. See if I can get 4.5.
Up next, this line has fucking moved. Winnipeg Blue Bombers versus the Ottawa Red Blacks. Winnipeg are 2.5 point favorites with a total set at 45.5. Monday, 2 days ago when we're recording this, Monday, this was a 6.5 point line.
Yep.
This has moved so much.
Yep. Now this is me. I have many rules when I'm a gambler. One of the rules is don't lay points in the road in football. Another one is don't bet a stale line. So I kind of feel like all this, I just can't get involved in this game. I feel I'm late to the party, so I can't do anything here.
With the total move this low and the money line move this low, because earlier the money line was like -400 for Winnipeg, -150. I might just bet the Bombers.
Okay.
And run them into a parlay.
Now, if their starting quarterback is officially in, do you think this would creep back up, or do you?
Let's see if I can find a Zach Collaros. Zach Collaros injury. Let's see if we can see anything. Uninjured. Okay. He's not. He is playing.
Okay. All right. I didn't know if it was more of the market overreacting to the Redbacks almost winning, or
I think it's just how it's a combination of how good they looked, because they did look legitimately good, and people had them near like a bottom 2, bottom 3 team. And Winnipeg looking a little stale, and now Ottawa's at home. They did that on the road. Now they're at home.
Yeah, I think this is a stay away from me. I can't do anything here.
I'm gonna probably take the under 45.5. If I'm gonna do anything, let me see if I can see this bet again. Yeah. Oh, God. This got juiced to shit, too. So a team total for Ottawa of 18.5. They scored 17 last week. They definitely had an opportunity to score 21. I would take it, but it's juiced to minus 190.
I mean,
no.
Geez.
When I did it, it was minus 110. It's been juiced to hell now. I'm sorry, people. I like that play. Overall for the game, I do like the under 45.5. I think it maybe gets to 40, but I like the under here, and that's minus 110 at least. Next up, we have the Calgary Stampeders versus the Hamilton Tiger Cats, with the Ticats, a 1-point favorite, with a total set at 45.
This is my hammer bet of the week.
Who are you hammering?
The Tiger Cats.
Ooh.
This is my hammer bet of the week. We have an inconsistent quarterback for the Stampeders. I love betting a team that, it's just kind of those buy low, sell highs. Like hypothetically, let's say the wheels don't fall off in the fourth quarter. It's a one possession game, or the Tigers win that game. What's the spread here? It's a lot more than one.
Maybe I still wouldn't like. It's hard for me to back this Hamilton offense, is my thing.
Okay.
So I actually lean Calgary here.
Ooh.
I think especially 1 points. I'm going to take Calgary on the money line. Okay. I'm also going to take under in this game, the under 45.
Okay, I can see that.
I just really don't trust Hamilton's offense. And then the last game of the week, the Saskatchewan Roughriders versus the Edmonton Elks. Roughriders are favored by 8 with a total set at 50. Biggest total for the weekend.
Here's my thing. I have to bet teams after they get embarrassed. They do a home opener. This is just what I have to do. I have to bet the Elks here.
They weren't embarrassed at a home opener.
No, embarrassed going into their home opener.
Oh, okay.
You know, embarrassed on the road. Now you're coming back home opener, playing a team that spent a lot to come back late, winning on a last second. No, excuse me. I'm sorry. A team that embarrassed the Tiger Cats. I
refuse to bet these Elks until I see something.
The Elks are going to turn into my Davis Mills.
They're going to turn into your Pittsburgh Maulers.
You know what, dude? They're going to be my Pittsburgh Maulers. You know, I can already see it now, dude.
That's going to be rough for you, man. That's going to be real rough. I'm on the Rough Riders. This total's really hard. 50 is hard because the BC Lions put up over 50 by themselves. And the Rough Riders do have the capability to do that. But 50's so high.
But do you feel, though, hypothetically, if the Elks weren't embarrassed, like if that was a 21-24 game, 3-point game, would you feel this line would be at what it is?
I feel like it'd be close. I feel like it'd probably be like 6.5, 7. Those were projected to be two of the worst teams in the league coming in. And I still think they're like BC, it's hard to tell. That game is very hard to project off of because BC could be really good and the Elks could just be kind of bad, or the Elks could be bottoming out and BC is pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't really know. I lean towards the Rough Riders being a really good defensive team, and they're way better defensively than the Lions, who the Elks couldn't do anything against. That offense was the worst offense I've ever seen. They were so bad. And the Rough Riders are way better defensively. They're gonna get that stop, and I'm gonna hope for an under. I'm gonna say under 50. I don't think the Rough Riders score more than like 42.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna take the Elks. I see it at 7.5, but it's at plus minus 105. Rough Riders are at minus 115. I'll hold out, see if I can get an 8, maybe an 8.5 for the Elks.
Do it. Do it. I like being able. So I got Toronto earlier this week when they were just -3, and then I was all over Ottawa when they were +6.5. I love the middling with the -2.5 now. I might be able to just get a little double there. I'm
Which is
also
nice.
just gonna do a little cheeky. I'll do a moneyline parlay of Toronto, Winnipeg, Calgary, and keep it nice. Keep it tight. +400.
Okay. We'll do a money line parlay of Montreal, the Tiger Cats, and the Elks.
Don't you fucking say the Elks.
I just said the Elks, dude.
God damn it, dude. I can't jump on that one with you. I cannot jump on that grenade.
I mean that pays what is that? It's pretty good, plus 1,600. It's a decent ROI.
That's pretty darn good. Moving on to the USFL final week of the regular season coming up. We have the Philadelphia Stars taking on the New Jersey Generals, with the Generals 2.5-point favorites. Total set at 41. I have no fucking idea.
I'm gonna take the Generals just because I think Costello. I think the Stars are just gonna go through the motions again.
But the Generals could be going through the motions too. I guess I trust the Generals more. I'm gonna take the under 41.
I think that's a smart play because I think both these teams don't want to get hurt.
I'm just gonna take the under 41. If I have any side, I'm gonna take the Generals -2.5. Yeah, that's this. These last 2 weeks of the USFL are just pure chaos. It's been nuts.
I love it. This is what I live for.
The Birmingham Stallions are taking on the Tampa Bay Bandits. Stallions are 3.5-point favorites. All of a sudden, is this when the Bandits get the win? I don't think so, because I'm using my lizard brain where like, oh, the Stallions are a team with a winning record. The Bandits can't win.
This is another game. Like,
they could cover though?
Yeah, they could, or could the Bandits just mail it in because it is their last game? They are eliminated. Stallions, looking to rebound a little bit. That 3 on the hook just scares me. I hate being that guy. To me, it's a live bet on the Stallions or you pass.
That's a good way to do it. I think I'm gonna maybe, live bet the Stallions. I'm also gonna go under 40.5 here.
Okay. I think this week is going to be insanely low scoring.
I think watch this next game be the highest scoring. We have the Michigan Panthers versus the Pittsburgh Maulers.
You give it to me +3 money line +130. Lock it in. Don't even think about it.
Ugh.
I mean, do I
under 42? I don't know, man. I can't know. If I'm going anything, I'm going +3.
Okay.
I like the +3. These are both bad teams, real bad.
Yeah.
Last game of the season.
I'll take the
last game
+3.
of the regular season, baby. New Orleans Breakers versus the Houston Gamblers.
See, this is another thing. Like, I would love to fade the Gamblers after that win. But
who are the Breakers going to trot out there at quarterback?
Yeah, that's another.
They want to save Sloter.
I mean, God, do I throw that? Do I just make a filthy 5-teamer then?
Make an under and then just bet the Gamblers first half like normal.
Just do a filthy of the Elks, the Tiger
Gamblers
Cats,
first half
Montreal,
+115 money line.
Maulers and Gamblers plus 9,317, dude.
What the fuck are you doing?
Elks, Tiger Cats, Montreal, Maulers, and Gamblers.
Disgusting. I will do Maulers first half. Okay, let's see. Maulers first half. I will do. I don't like any of the dogs in the CFL. I'll do Calgary money line.
Okay.
And I'll do. I'll do the Maulers money line too. Plus 865. Boom.
Okay. Throw the Elks in there, and now we're cooking, dude.
No, I refuse. The Elks are not getting in anywhere near any of these bets. That'll do it for this episode of Spring Fever. The USFL is winding down. We will do our season thoughts and recap and everything next episode when we're like going over the entirety of the USFL season, talking playoffs. CFL will be in full swing. Hopefully we'll get some real big XFL news. I know we got coaches. We're going to talk about that hopefully in the next week or two. Maybe once the USFL is over, we'll just like do a full deep dive into the XFL and what they've got, what they've announced from now till then. Who knows? There's a lot planned. There's a lot that could happen. My man Eric, where can the people find you?
ETOF 21 Sports on the old Gram and TikTok, and ETOF 21 on Twitter. New podcast coming out this Friday, which you are on, my friend.
You betcha.
Talk a little gambling, USFL, CFL gambling, and have a little bit of some hockey talk there too. Yeah, it's gonna be a nice little show.
We'll see if these CFL lines move just as drastically again in a couple days.
So let me ask you, Ron, before we sign off, let me ask you one quick question. In terms of line movage, I mean, obviously I could see the Elks moving, but I mean,
I think you could see some movement with Calgary and Hamilton.
What way?
Either way, honestly. I could see it actually flowing either way, because like there will be people that have your take that Hamilton underperformed in week 1, Calgary overperformed by like they skirted by winning that. These teams probably aren't as far away from each other as they seem. Hamilton's offense looked so bad in my opinion. I can't back it.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I don't know. Like I'm not what's the word I'm looking for? Aficionado in CFL.
We'll get there. We'll get you there, buddy.
All right, man.
Thank you all for watching. Give us a like, give us a follow. Go check us out, because after this live stream is done, we're going to be over on BTV, Better Than Vegas. That's where you can find all the VODs of Spring Fever and the College Football Tailgate. Love you guys.